Hello, hello, hello. Hi. So, as I already put in, I'm going to do a live stream now. It's the first live stream since some time, and oh man, it's fun to be back. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome. Please quickly write me something in the chat so I know that it works on LinkedIn and on YouTube. That would be super awesome. If you guys give me a short feedback. Kunal, hi. Long time, yeah. Kunal was here. Kunal was actually a coaching student from me. Hi. Wilt is here. Is somebody on LinkedIn here? Does LinkedIn work? Maybe I'm going to check it because I haven't been here for so long. And I just want to quickly see if LinkedIn works. Yeah, today I have, yeah, I'm live. Okay, very good. So today I have a few things. Hi, Asif. Hi, Mohammed. Hi. I'm great, thanks. Joseph. Hi. Good morning to Chicago, yeah. Oh, hi, Joe. Yeah. All good. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, welcome. Today I have a few topics that I want to discuss, and I want to show. Thanks for the big feedback that everything is working. Hi, Leonard. I want to show you. I've been working in the background. I've been working on a course roadmap. As you know, I'm building a data engineering academy, and I have a lot of stuff in there, but I want to show you a bit of the background, like how do you go at this? Usually you only see, like on Udemy and stuff, you only see people are putting up courses. But what actually do you need to think about to actually build these courses? What's the right path? I also, this morning I've uploaded more content into the academy. I've been sitting down and I have a fundamentals course, and for the fundamentals I've been adding stuff for relational databases this morning. This was an old one, but I added a half an hour more content to the academy. I felt like I had links there, but and also Joe and we were talking before, like SQL is very important. You need to understand not only the query language, but you need to understand how to build databases, how to design them, to be able to then work with the NoSQL tools, and yeah, get into that, because very often you need a traditional design to actually figure out, okay, what's the downside with this? What would be the upsides of a NoSQL database or a document store, something like that? So that's super cool, and I'm really happy that I had some time to actually record more to that. Already a quick question: if I want to be a data engineer, do I need to be a master of programming language? Well, master is very it's a very hard, very strict formulation. I would say you need to be reasonably good to code, and reasonably good in one language. The major language is Python. Look at Python, figure out Python, train yourself in Python. I'm not the best with Python. I came from the Java world, so I'm still also getting into Python, because earlier, like a lot of stuff you could do with Java, but nowadays, the past few years, everything moved to Python basically. So that's what I think you should focus on. But back to the code, to the course roadmap. So I've been thinking. Oh, one other thing. I've been uploading a YouTube video yesterday. I don't know if you have seen it. I have uploaded. Maybe I can quickly show you how it looks. My channel. here. I have been I've been doing a video, no, not the ultimate, here. How to AWS DynamoDB schema design. It's how long is this? 16 minutes. Yeah, 16 minutes video. I worked at this because we were talking about this in the coaching sessions, about how to design a schema for DynamoDB. And as I said, in that video, I showed like, okay, how would you, it was a very, very simple thing, simple problem, but how would that look in a relational database, and what could you do in something like DynamoDB, a NoSQL database / document store? So that's something, yeah, that I've been posting. If you're interested in that, check that out. Yeah. Oh, here my initials, the legendary return. Good afternoon. Yeah. Hi, AK. Hi, everybody. So let's get into this, into my topic, and I already see a lot of really, really good questions. But first I want to talk a bit about my stuff. Or should I answer? I'm going to answer a few questions before I move into the main topic. So one is here. Yeah, thanks, Roshan. I'm doing good. Hope you too. I just want to understand, how can we start learning Kafka and Flink? I don't find any relevant sources over the internet. Would be great if you can share the same. So one thing, how you can learn Kafka and Flink. I'm not sure if Flink is the main thing that you want to go right now. Most likely, if you say Flink, you have some application for that. But generally, if you want to learn like Kafka and Flink or any other tool, look at Docker Hub if you can find some Docker containers, and then set this up. So once you have these tools running, then actually go for Kafka, for instance, go into the Kafka documentation. Find out how you can write data to it, and how can you query data out of it or get data out of it. Like how does a source and a sink work? And then you can write a Python code that just does just that. Write data in, and then create another Python example piece of code that reads data out of it. Then you already get into the doing. Okay, now how does that work? Then the next part, look into Flink. Looking into Flink would be something. Okay, now I have set it up. And I'm not the Flink expert, like, are there user interfaces or management interfaces? How do they look? How can you actually create a simple piece of code to run? And so on and so on. And then once you have a simple program or a simple piece of code, try to connect it to Kafka to read messages out of it. Try to connect it to a file that you read, simply read a file. And that's basically how I would start, and how I would learn this. But use Docker. Don't install this thing yourself, because, man, a lot of people write me, Andreas, I'm struggling with the installation of this tool and that tool, which is super annoying, and that's a problem. And with Docker, you relieve that problem. You don't need to think about installation and configuration. So that go with that. Go with that. Nothing here. Cybersecurity versus data engineering. What does the world need? Both. Both. The world needs both. A good cybersecurity, good security around everything, around your platform, around your processes, around your APIs. That is the core that you need. As a data engineer, you have the basics, and you can do this to some point. But for bigger projects and for bigger companies, and for the more you mature, or your project matures, you should get a cybersecurity expert to look into this stuff. So you need both. Cybersecurity is a big topic. that is coming more and more. The more people move to the cloud and away from their private cloud or their local stuff. That's where the stuff can. That's where this goes. So, seen a lot of data engineering jobs requesting CI/CD experience. How can we scale up this area without a job experience? I'm going to I'm going to look at this. Going to look at this later because I think you understand that. What is Docker? How does Docker work? I would say go. Docker is a bit like a virtual machine, but not. It's a bit difficult to explain in 10 sentences. It's a way where you basically you can create containers, and these containers have a Linux layer and an application layer, I would say, where you can once you have a piece of code or a tool that you installed, you can basically create a Docker container out of it. And this way it's very easy to ship because it brings the whole environment with it. But it's not like a VM that you have to set up and that you have to give resources for, and so on and so on. It's a bit different. Look at docker.com. I think it's docker.com, right? Yeah, it is. Here. Look here. Docker.com, and most likely go to developers and go to getting started. Docker for desktop, most likely they have a documentation here somewhere. Pricing, products, docs, getting started, and there are a lot of things to actually look into. That's how I would start with this. That's how I would look into Docker. But so let's look at what I actually wanted to talk about today. It is this. I have been. Where is it? So I'm not sure if you have seen it, but I was thinking like, okay, how could I quickly need to rearrange this here. So I see your comments. How could I actually create a really, really good course outline, or a bunch of courses that make sense, and that how to learn data engineering the right way, right? So what I was thinking about, the central point is at some point you have a platform, a data science platform, a platform that requires engineering. And from there, I've been thinking about finding out, okay, which topics are important in this area. And what I have seen and what I know from experience is these around here. So basically we could start on the right, that you have some APIs. APIs that are where you are getting data in, or you're querying data. So you should think about something like, from a design standpoint, Open API and Swagger are interesting parts, Fast API. Then you most likely you want to do some stream processing, so you need something that I always call buffers or message queues, Kafka, maybe a PubSub from Redis, like a cache. Then you have some data stores where you basically have modern data warehouses, normal data warehouses. You have SQL, you have NoSQL databases. And I've been trying to like organize that with a bunch of tools. Which tools could we use here? And how could we build this? Then you have processing frameworks, where you find Spark, where you would also find Flink that we just discussed, simple Docker containers that run Python scripts, Airflow with the scheduling, where you would have a platform like Databricks, and then CI/CD with GitLab, Jenkins, basically a code repository and deployment or a integration where you can already build code. With Jenkins, you can also build code. And then on the top, you have monitoring for your platform. And you have something like visualization, where you say, okay, maybe I have a BI tool, maybe I have a dashboard, already built dashboard, or I built myself a dashboard with something like Streamlit based on Python. So that's basically what I was thinking of, and that's basically that's what I started with. So I started with this setup, and I was thinking, okay, how can I now organize this? How can I bring this into projects? Because I think the main idea here. Let me go to this. The main idea how to learn data engineering, and that's how I built my whole academy around. Is first you have a layer that is like the introduction layer, the basics layer, introduction to data engineering, fundamentals, Python fundamentals. Then you're going to the next part would be platform and pipeline design, like the general design principles, strategies, and security. And then I have these, what we've just talked about before, data ingestion with APIs, buffers with message queues, data processing or processing frameworks and scheduling, data stores and data warehouses, visualization, CI/CD, monitoring. And so all of these, a bunch of these would then build, in my thinking, would then build a capstone project where you're, for instance, you're doing a log indexing project and you're using these tools here, a bunch of them, to actually do these capstone projects. And that's what I'm basically trying to plan. Once you have built these projects, you then do a documentation on GitHub or blog posts or YouTube videos, build your CV, and then you basically market yourself. And so that's basically what I'm thinking of, where I want to go, and why I want to build these platform, these tools, and choose the right tools to actually work with. So I'm not sure if that makes, I hope that makes sense, because to me it makes total sense, because then now I have these areas that I want to work on, and now I can basically figure out which tools do I want to use. And that was the thing. I was then thinking about, okay, now I went through and marked these tools into different colors, and actually try to design some small projects. Like local here was a search engine with the CI/CD pipeline. Maybe not Jenkins here, maybe only GitLab, but like these things that then ended in this, or more or less this one here. Like you have the capstone projects on the top. You have the stream processing with JSON documents, time series, log indexing, ETL from a warehouse, modern data warehouse, and then an Azure course. And so I was, and then below these are basically the, and I colored these as well. These are then the simple courses to actually build. And each of this course, I was thinking of like, okay, these course have an introduction. What is it? What is it used for? And data environment, like how this tool is set up, the data that we use, key concept of each tool, a hands-on part, best practices, how to use that in the platform, then a summary and outlook. So that's how I basically got to this whole thing, to this. And I think it's a great plan to actually build, and that's where basically we're right now. We're here. I have a few things that I want to finish. I'm currently working on the fundamentals course, finishing the fundamentals course, and then the next part is the choosing data stores course that I have right now, but I only have the slides. I want to record this next. Yeah, that's basically how I currently what I'm looking at and what I'm working on. So a lot of stuff is going on behind, and this is how you build a roadmap, right? Because people, as I said before, you only see it's this course coming, it's this course coming. People are doing these courses, but the overall the thinking of how does that all fit together, and in a way that, like, it's not just single courses, it fits together, and people can actually go in there, learn the tools, build a project, document the project, and then go from there. Then add new stuff to it. That's something I really I'm looking forward to, and I want to work on a lot. So I let me know how you like this. What do you think about this? Let me show it again here. What do you think about this? What have you seen something that you don't like? While I go through more questions. So this thing here, this question, how to follow the course, plan to become a data engineer. That's basically, that's what you do here. You learn the fundamentals. You learn the fundamentals of a data science platform. What do you need? Then you go through the tools, through not all, a selection of tools. Then build a project, document it, and that's the same thing I do for the academy. And I already have one course. I should mark this here green. I already have this for the data engineering on AWS course. That's already green. Already did it. Where you look at the tools or where you learn the tools and then build a complete capstone project, and then you document this. I do this in the coaching usually with students so they actually learn how to find out which are the right tools and build a project. Yeah. And yeah, how do you say this? Get a job then, right? Nice roadmap. We share the link on that content. That is actually already here. If you go to the academy, in the academy, I have that here. Oh no, I need to open it in a private window. That roadmap is already without the Azure. I've added the Azure part later. It's already here. I already have the roadmap on the website. That's what I'm doing next. So I'm going to do the choosing data stores course, because in the choosing data stores course I wanna in the choosing data stores course I wanna look at. I want to basically explain the differences here. Warehouses, relational databases, the different types of NoSQL databases, so that people already understand, students already understand, okay, what are the differences? Why would you use which? And which I think is really important. All right. Let me think about what else is here. How different are your course materials versus data engineering, big data, machine learning on GCP specialization regarding job readiness? So I'm not sure which course you actually reference here. Basically, as I said, the main thing that I want to do is, and I did this for the AWS course, the main thing is to give let's say a quick start. Like give you everything that you need so you can use the tools, so you can build the pipelines, you can build a platform so that you can process data. And from that, you can then grow. You can then use the knowledge and get more into everything. Because I think it usually that's how I learn, and that's how a lot of people learn, is by not going into the not doing everything theoretically and then start doing it hands-on. I'm a hands-on guy, so I need to, and I'm creating hands-on courses. So it's more or less the GCP specialization would be another of these capstone projects where we're doing something. But I'm not a GCP expert, so I can't right now do a GCP course. I'm right now talking to one of my former coaching students. Maybe we do a collab. So he also creates a piece of or he creates the Azure course. That's something that we currently look for, and I think that could be really, really cool. So we bring in the Azure course earlier than if I do it myself. I hope you're doing well. Looking forward to the course. How MinIO is different from S3 storage service. What extra? I have no idea what MinIO is. Never worked with MinIO. MinIO. Would need to Google that myself. Can't help you there. George. Okay. A few months ago, I get IBM data science certification that is structured in a similar way. I think it's the right way. Like you need to at some point you need to get the basics down in a few areas, and then you need to do a project. It's the best way. The problem, however, that I have and that a lot of people have is to actually find the right tools. Like when you think about engineering, there's so many tools out there, and so you can do so much. Like where to focus on, how to build the pipelines, what should you use, right? And that's where I usually come in, and that's also what a lot of times what I do in the coaching is that I help the students in the beginning to actually get to a point where they understand how does everything work and how do I build pipelines and which tools are good here and there. So that's something, especially for engineering, I feel like this is super important to actually have. And I know a lot of people do this. That's why I also, where's my, here. And especially for data engineering, where I'm a expert with, so that's why I titled this "Building the Ultimate Data Engineering Academy." I want to build here the best academy around. Like the main thing that you use if you want to get into engineering, this is the thing to actually go for. There already, I don't know how many hours I have in there. It's more than a day, 100%, but I haven't like, I think there's no way to actually see this on my side. I would need to calculate it based on the input videos, but that's my goal of like keeping this, and then do the coaching to actually help students in a customized way. And the academy is the self-learning pace thing. Thanks, Tyler. Thank you a lot. The roadmap I was talking about. Yeah. I wanted to get here to another point before about CI/CD. A lot of requesting CI/CD experience. How can I skill this up? This is a thing, and what I would recommend, and that's what I want to do with one of the courses. I want to build one course where you have some data laying around somewhere in a local drive, and you basically write your Python code, and you use GitLab or you could also use GitHub here as a code repository, where you keep your code, and then I want to use either GitLab's builder or build it through Jenkins, build then the Docker container and deploy the containers automatically. So this would be something how you can, and then basically, for instance, do Elasticsearch, write the data with that Python, read the data from here, take it, write it into Elasticsearch and visualize it. And this is how I would learn the CI/CD part, learn how to work with a code management, code repository, however you want to call it, solution, work with it, set up a tool that actually allows you to test your code on the fly and to build your code and deploy your code. And you can do this locally. You don't need to run this on some crazy hardware or in the cloud. You can already do this yourself. I think that is a really cool thing, and that's where I want to go, to actually build something like that. Yeah, as that, because CI/CD is very important nowadays. Yeah, when are you going to start data engineering focus on Azure? As I said, for me right now, I thought about, or my goal would be to either push this in the future, or to have someone else create it. Like my student, I don't want to mention him right now because it's not we haven't like decided, and I don't want to put pressure on him. But like, we were talking about, okay, he did such a great job with his project in the coaching. He even did 2 projects, but only one was on Azure. He did such a great job on this project. Why not take this and build a course out of it? I think that would be really cool for him, and it would also be great for me. And I'm going to pay for this. But this would be a great way actually to get some, like, my kids are home. Want to see this works fine, but it will be great that once you finish a project, you show how to debug errors and also how to add new functionality. Usually, and that's for instance on my AWS course, I've been running into problems, and then I documented the debugging, how I debugged my problems while building the course. That's also something I want to do in the future, actually document this journey and put this then also in the course. So not have this super polished course where everything is prepared, so also that you can go and you can see how complicated it is, or how to actually debug stuff. And I think for the it was for the Redshift part, for the data warehouse part, that really helped. I had another student in the coaching who used that and said it was really good. Yeah, as I said, this is already on the website. I just need to update it with the Azure. And what I want to do is basically I want to also add where is it again? Oh, that's the wrong. Struggling with my Windows here. Come on. I want to put timelines here in this on the site. The problem right now is I have no idea how fast I can build something like that. That's one thing. What I'm currently, that's why I'm currently shying away of putting timelines here. My plan would be to next month have this thing completely finished. But we can build an API with, you learn the basics of APIs, you build an API, you use Kafka, Spark, and MongoDB, and a Streamlit Python app to actually visualize the data from MongoDB and work with it and maybe change it. That would be my goal for for June. This month, last 2 weeks, I want to finish the old stuff that I still have in the pipeline and never had time to actually get to. So that's actually what I want to do. Leonard, this looks nice. Curious on how where the machine learning lifecycle would fit in this. ML model monitoring, tracking, retaining tools such as MLflow. Is this part of CI/CD? Not even part of engineering. Generally, how I think, what a lot of people do, and how this fits a lot into this, is actually with Docker. People tend to overthink this and look into big tools and working with these tools. But a lot of stuff you can do with simple, as I said, as I've shown before, with simple GitLab or Git repository type and Jenkins to build it and then ship it, and use your code to actually train models or apply these models. I have in the academy, I have in the pipeline building, I have a few examples of how would that look. How could you build a analytics pipeline? But these tools, usually MLflow, these things are more related for the actual scientist. The engineer has less to do with these tools. It's more of something for the scientist. But nevertheless, I think it's a good way of it's an important part. Machine learning, how to automate this basically. But for me, it's always like when I think about engineering, I try to shy away from the actual machine learning part, because I have a lot of data scientists in the courses, or I have data scientists in the coaching, and I like if you know a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So, or if you only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So I don't want to have people actually just thinking about the science part. I want to have them more also thinking about the engineering part. So that's why I usually don't focus on the actual machine learning. It's very simple to actually do this, as I said, with containers. And yeah, so maybe in the future I had planned to do a machine learning for data engineers course. Never came around to do it, but I think it would also be an interesting part. I hope this answers your questions, Leonard. It's a bunch of tools, an overdose of tools, isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't the engineer need to know all of these things? It's more about knowing the basics of engineering rather than getting limited to these only specific tools. Very, very, very good. That is why I built, let me bring it up again. That is why I used this concept here. The important part are these basics, and usually what I should have added here, oops, wrong keyboard. Choosing data stores, for instance. So you learn the basics of your stuff, like, okay, what are the basics of engineering? How can I build platforms and pipelines? What are the typical patterns that you find all the time? What's the security looking like? And how to choose basically the tools. How to choose, for instance, a data store. Which data stores to choose. And then the idea is to actually not focus on all of these tools here. You shouldn't do that. You should select one or two out of this and actually do this. And oh, whoops, you're still in the picture. Like, you select then what you're interested in, and either this is something you select what interests you, Or the even better way is that you then learn, that you do some research, basically what is in the job descriptions around me. If you're searching for a job, what is in the job descriptions? What should I learn? And this should then determine what you'll look into. Which tools do you look into? And what I selected here are the tools that I see all the time. That's why I look into these and try to build something with these tools. But that's the way. You don't learn everything. You would do certain capstone projects. Sometimes it's good to even understand, like, okay, what's like, do it, just follow it, look at the videos and understand, okay, what did Andreas do here? What's the purpose of this? That's my goal of teaching all this knowledge and giving you the best options to actually learn. Christina here. Okay, approximate how long would it take to grasp the knowledge technologies for data engineering? As I said, it totally depends. If you do it right, if you focus on the right stuff, if you focus on the right concepts, that's what I want. Why I want to build all these things. It doesn't really take that long to grasp the basic concepts and the fundamental stuff. Very often it's if you've seen one tool or if you've seen one platform, all others work the same. If you build, like I see this with my AWS course, the stuff that you do on the AWS course, how the tools work, it's the same thing literally on Azure or on GCP. Of course, there are some details here and there, but the primary concepts you see all the time. So if you know one, you would know yourself how to apply this on other platforms with a bit of Googling and maybe look a few tutorials. And that people always think, wow, there are so many tools and that's so much things around here. Let me bring it up again. Once you know the basics, of actually platform design, then it's very and you let's say you know only one of these things here below. Then you're already. Am I still? Yeah. Okay. Then you're good. Then that's it. And if these that you learn here in these areas, if these fit to the job descriptions around you or that you're searching for, then that's it. Here's another question. I love these questions. I feels like I get these every time I go live, but I wanna take a few seconds to answer this. Do you recommend the associate certificate if you want to focus on Azure, and if you already know the basics? Let's say you know the basics, and the companies around you are all searching for Azure, and you really see that the certificate is helping you, or they require certificates, then go for the certificate. Without that, you can already start applying yourself. Like, do a project, use Azure, build, use the tools to build the pipelines, and like I can maybe I can, let me show you a link. For instance, whoops. Here's an example from one of my students. So he did a data set with hurricane data, with basically tweets and pictures on it, in it, and then he created pipelines here on Azure, a streaming pipeline with API management, function, Event Hub, Cosmos DB, Power BI, some app, and in front of it, like how to feed the data into the API. And that's already how you can actually start applying all this. and start working with it, and then build a dashboard and look at the data. So that's really, really cool. I'm going to post it in the chat. Go, I can't post it here. I'm gonna post this here. I'm going to post this in the chat here on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, I think I can only post it here on LinkedIn. Can I post it in YouTube? Oh, I think I can't post in YouTube. Yeah, I could. So look at Christian's project. It's really, really cool. This is how simple it is to actually get into this. So yeah. So again, to the point, certificate. Sometimes it makes sense, but it's not like you would not do the certificate just to have the certificate. You would do the certificate to know more, get deeper into the topic, learn more details. That's why you would do a certificate. Is it okay to love data engineering and hate machine learning, deep learning? I feel guilty sometimes. For me, I'm a data engineer. As I always say, I understand how machine learning works, and I think that's important for an engineer. That's why I'm also thinking this is nice that I got reminded about this again. Like, that's why I think it's important for an engineer to understand the language and to understand how it generally works, right? But I'm absolutely zero. I have zero interest of getting into data science and building machine learning algorithms, training models, and like pre-processing data, specifically for that. It's like no. Oh, that's not my thing. So I can understand your that you feel that sometimes. Maybe data engineering. Andrew said, "Yeah, hey, welcome, Andrew. Love your work. Check out Andrew Jones. He's basically the data scientist part, or counterpart of me. He has his own academy, his own learning platform, Data Science Infinity. Check that out if you want to become a data scientist. Andrew's stuff is the stuff to look for. So thanks for being here, Andrew. We should talk again, Andrew, sometime. We should have a chat again. Should we get started with on-premise and from Hadoop rather than Spark and learn things the hard way before moving to the cloud? It depends. And that's what I meant. Like, the downside with the cloud is that you're limited to one cloud supplier. So you know the tools on AWS, and if you learn them and you train on them, you're very good on these. And although the others are basically are similar, you're locked into the AWS realm. If you go something like Spark, Kafka, and all the Elasticsearch and so on, Airflow, these just to name a few tools out there. Like, these are very general. These are open source mostly, and all, and they can install everywhere. They can run everywhere. So it's a lot freer. You're gaining a lot of experience that can be used anywhere, and that's what I really like. So Hadoop, I would not get into Hadoop personally. I think Hadoop is a bit old right now. It's mature, but people are moving towards the cloud, moving towards other tools, and also it's really, really terrible to install. Hadoop is terrible to learn with. There aren't really any good sources. Cloudera had a VM. I had a Docker container once, or a VM, which they don't support anymore. And otherwise, you would need to install this somehow yourself. I think it's not worth the hassle. So I would either do some project like I have planned that all can run in a containerized environment on your local machine. Because if it runs in a Docker environment on your machine, it could run on Docker in the cloud. So it's not really, there's not really a stretch, right? So that's what I would look for, and yeah, moving to the cloud, yeah, it's good, it's important, but you can start for free on your local machine training this. For instance, Spark, the Spark course I have in the academy has nothing to do with the cloud. It's just a Docker container where we have a Jupyter notebook, and this notebook uses then the Spark API, and you basically code in PySpark and learn that on your local machine you can read from a file. The next part would be, and that's what I have planned in the course. The next part would be to set up a Kafka Docker container and then consume data from that container. So that's how I would go at it, right? Okay, Cigar, how good does one need to be with data structures and algorithms in order to become a good data engineer? Or isn't that how to look at it? Great initiative, thanks a lot. Generally, I think data structures in terms of like learning learning how to work with Parquet files, learning how to work with CSV files, learning how to work with JSON data. JSON is very, very important. These things are very, very important to get behind and to learn to use. Actually, the machine learning algorithms, I always feel like this is nothing that a data engineer should focus on. There are data scientists for that job. Data scientists can do that 10 times better usually. It's these two things, data science and engineering, are so large, these fields. It's hard to be good in both, or it's almost impossible to be good in both. So I would always, as an engineer, I don't think you have to know the algorithms. I know there are some jobs where you need to do it, but it's like only if you're really interested in it. Good session, enjoyed the tidbits. Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm happy that this helps. Are there any other skills apart from Kafka, PySpark, Airflow to begin as a junior data engineer? There are a lot of things as a junior data engineer that you can that can help you. Check out the fundamentals course and the introduction to data engineering course in my academy. These and just you don't need to join the academy. Just look at the topics that I have. And these are all important parts. Of course, as a junior role, you usually some people have huge requirements for junior roles, which I think it's not okay. Like if you're searching for someone who has 2 years of experience, he shouldn't be, or that person shouldn't need to know a lot junior. Nah, so that's how it is. Franzi, hi. Franzi, actually, greetings to Stuttgart. Franzi studied with me once at the university. Nice to see you here. Thanks for coming by. So yeah, but generally these are good tools to have, like a part of streaming and a part of like a buffer or a streaming framework, a processing framework, and something to schedule. That's already good. You should look also into data stores, how to work with the different data stores. I think that is something that is missing from this list here. Andrew. Data science and data engineering have some overlap, but who has the time to do both properly in the real world? Pick the one that you're most passionate about and dive in. Always understand the other side. Andrew, do you want to chat about this? You want to have a quick chat about this? Are you in front of a microphone and a camera? Because I can't bring you on and we can quickly talk about this. I would love to talk to you about this. What you have seen with your students, how they worked or how they see this. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to send, if you want, I can send you the link on LinkedIn. I think that could be cool. If you're still here. Malik, I saw your... Okay, until Andrew answers, I'm going to go to Malik's question. Okay. Okay. Then let's set up something, Andrew. We're going to figure something out. I would love to bring you on and talk with you about this. So how is Kubernetes useful for data engineers? So here's the thing: I'm not a huge Kubernetes fan for education part. I think the main part is to actually understand how to work with Docker containers, how to build containers, how the scheduling works, so you can plan something in and not rely on cron jobs. I think that is an important part that you should look. Kubernetes as like the framework where you can deploy them and have them run on a distributed cluster with managed resources and everything. I think it's another layer on top of it, right? It's very far up in the whole hierarchy. So it's not something I would focus on in the beginning. After you build, maybe it's also hard to actually learn, because where do you get a Kubernetes cluster? You would need to set something up on AWS or a cloud platform, which would take a lot of money to run. You could set something up on local, but do you really want to do this? Is this then? So I'm not 100% sure. It's a very interesting and very important tool if you run stuff on your in your platform and you're working a lot with containers in a containerized environment. Then Kubernetes is very important. But for actual learning, I'm not that sure. I'm not sure. I think I wouldn't focus on it for learning. I have no plans, for instance, to focus on this for the actual learning part. Yeah. So I'm through for today. We're in an hour. It was really cool, really awesome questions, great things to answer. It always gives me a lot of thought, like a lot of input, like what could I add to the courses, what is interesting, and yeah, it's cool. I'm about to start learning Spark. Which programming language would you recommend? Scala, Python? Prior experience in Python? Go with Python. Don't go with no. Most industry experts saying to go with Scala. That is absolutely not true. Why they use Scala a lot of times? Why people use Scala is most of the times they have some legacy or some older older code that was running through Spark, through Scala before the Spark API, or the Spark interfaces, not Spark, before the Python API was that good. That's where this comes from. But nowadays everything is moving towards Python. So if you want to stay ahead of the curve, I would definitely look into Python. That's why I did the course in the academy on Python, because I think that's the future. Working with notebooks and doing Python, that's the future. And Python is so nice to work with in contrast to Scala. So I would recommend you learn it with Python. That makes more sense. That makes more sense, because it's going to move more and more towards Python. Of course, as that older stuff is still in Scala. Yeah. So I think that's it. Don't have anything else. I hope this was fun for you. I'm not sure I'm going to how often I can do this. I would find it cool to come online like every day, because this is more fun. Yesterday I was creating that video, which is like, it's not that much fun for me. Like creating the video, thinking about the thumbnails and doing the tags and everything. And then preparing it, and then sitting here and recording the video on your own in my office. It's a bit boring. I find these discussions that we have here, I find this very much a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. Yeah, so that's why I plan to do this more often. I know I say this all the time. It's like that meme that I just posted here on LinkedIn, or this thing. I found this on Instagram earlier today. I was going through Instagram, like this here. Get a new idea, start a new project, tell everyone, and then never finish it, get a new idea. That's why that's my struggle. That's what I'm struggling with all the time. Like, I have the idea, I can do live streams every day. Then I do a live stream 2 days. Then I'm going to tell everyone I'm going to do live streams now every day. And then I have another thing, and it falls behind. It's like, it's always the same thing. And I guess for some of you, it's also the same thing. Yeah. So that's the struggle of someone who's doing all of this stuff. Yeah. Any vouchers for the academy for participating here? No. You're welcome. I do these things to share my experience for free. The academy is for prepared courses, is for prepared stuff, where I take my time, sit here. Like this morning, I record an hour, and out comes in half an hour of courses, and then I upload it to the academy. But yeah, that's why I do this here. I don't do vouchers, or I don't do any codes, because I think it's really unfair to people. Like, how would you feel if you now buy this as full price today, and tomorrow you see that I have a 20-30% off thing? So I think that would be really unfair, and it would piss me off if I would do it. So that's why I don't do this stuff. As I said, I want to keep pushing out free content. We're also going to push stuff to our YouTube, like this things here. All these questions, we're going to cut them together, and we're going to publish them, so people actually get a lot of free content. Yeah. What's your process to get over being overwhelmed by so many ideas? How do you choose what is important to you versus not. That is the thing. That's why I showed you this thing here, how to learn this, and then how I got to this roadmap, because you need something like this. You need some kind of roadmap somewhere that will actually help you or guide your way. If I would just like do what I want, I would just like the picture I've shown you, like get an idea, start it to tell people, then get the next one, and that planning for that Miro board. I don't know how many hours this took me. Maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, like almost over a few days. I've been working on this all the time to actually try to figure out, okay, what would be the right approach? What would be some goals to actually do? Like these capstone projects are basically my goals. I want to fulfill these capstone projects, and this is a way to not get overwhelmed and to try to limit yourself. And I struggle with this all the time. I have started so many things and never went through with them. Yeah, sometimes that's how it is. Okay, so that was again. Thank you very, very much. That was fun. If you're on YouTube, leave a like here. Subscribe to the channel. Check out all the other videos. I think we have 300 videos. If search through them, if you find something interesting. I'm going to plan the next stream. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. Let's see how tomorrow goes, and then let's talk again. Right. Another thing that is close to my heart. Please do me a favor. Kate Strachny now does a conference. Do I have this on LinkedIn? I just want to share this with you. Here. So Kate Strachny now does a conference, and the conference should start. Where does she have the information about the conference? I'm mega prepared for this, but it's just something that I just had. Where is it? Data conference here. Dedicated conference industry focus. This starts here. It's today. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. ET. So in an hour, that starts on her channel. Just go there, register yourself. It costs absolutely nothing. It's completely free. She has a lot of interesting speakers. Do we have the calendar here? Now here's calendar. Day 1, that's today. Yeah, you can also join it. Where does she have the speakers? Not sure where are the speakers. I think here, dedicated.com/conference. No, that's this. You're going to find it. So she has a lot of great speakers and very well-known speakers. Yeah. So thanks for being here. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great start of the day, great end of the day. Here it's 4 p.m. and I'm going to do some garden work now. Thanks for being here. Until next time, I hope you learned something and I hope you had fun. See you later. Bye-bye.